Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, across our beloved Copper Empire. It's great to be in the Empire today. Thank you so much for stopping by Idle Holiday News, the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. Where today, holy cow, we got some massive news for Marvel Snap. Thanos is getting a huge buff to them, rightfully so. It's one of the big baddies of Marvel. And really, it's the stones that are more impressive than Thanos. But now Thanos is going to be kind of like an infinite. Big power at the very last turn. Cool stuff, but also we got some other stuff. We're walking into a Sandman meta. Big buffs to Sandman. And Darkhawk, getting a little knock on the nose, my friends. I'm starting to be glad that I didn't get Darkhawk from the collector token shop. Yeah, it seems like it's been getting knocked of Zabu and it knocked again a little bit. Let's bring you on over. We have a huge update that's coming to Marvel Snap here. And before we get going on this, I want to thank everyone on the second channel here. We already surpassed 15 billion subscribers. Thank you so much for all the support. It's been a ton of fun covering Marvel Snap on the second channel. And hopefully you've been enjoying your time here. Really do appreciate it. Let's get into it. So as we know, there's a series drop that's going to be coming. 5 to 4, we already talked about the Silver Surfer Null Darkhawk Sentry. I posted a poll on my channel a while ago. Seems like most people are very excited for Null, and rightfully so. I'm excited for more people to get their hands on him. You know, I have this weird suspicion. You know, all the Series 5 cards are so good, and then they nerf them by the time most people can get their hands on them. It's kind of getting me a little salty. Hopefully they don't mess with Null. Really powerful card, and people are going to start recognizing that a lot more soon. Series 4, we know Agent Coulson, Maria Hill, Hellcarrier is going down. We all know that. Cool. A few things to note about this. If you pin one of these cards now, they're going to automatically change in price whenever the series drop finally comes in the next big update. So if you see Null or Sentry, Darkhawk, Silver Surfer, you want to make sure you don't lose them in the midst of all the funniness that goes with the collector token shop. Pin them. And also, as we talked about with the reserves, if you want to try to open these up from the reserves for new Series 3, Series 4, you can save your reserves, and they're going to update with the new chances of these cards in the Series 4 and 3 pool post update. Just thought I'd put that on your radar. Moving on here, let's get to the really big stuff. I want to hop over to this, and I believe that the developers also said there's going to be an animation change, or addition, I should say, to Thanos. Galactus, one of the coolest animations in the game, and Galactus, from a performance standpoint, is kind of miles ahead of Thanos himself. Again, the whole point of a Thanos deck is pretty much the stones, and you know, people use it of Lockjaw, maybe Death, so they can try to get Death out there a little bit faster. They're boosting the power on Thanos to be from 6'8 to 6'11. You really aren't playing Thanos inside of Marvel stuff. You're playing the stones, and maybe Lockjaw's bringing out the big power cards. But now it's going to be a 6'11, 6 cost, 11 power. And when you consider the Power Stone adding a bunch of power, and it's basically an infinite, one of the higher big plays you could possibly put on the table. Dev comment, we think Thanos is one of the coolest cards, and we're a bit sad that he himself isn't played often. As we said, most Thanos decks focus primarily on making good use of the stones. We want to make sure the Mad Titan himself has enough power to play. Exactly. You know, 6'8 wasn't really, there's a lot of better plays than putting a 6'8 at the very end. So Thanos, I'm excited to see whatever animation they have in store for this guy. And on top of it, I'm really excited to see Thanos hopefully see a lot more action on the field. It's such a cool card. I wanted to use it more, but there are just a lot of other better decks. But during the offseason, once you hit Infinite, it's kind of fun playing around with it. Let's talk about the other stuff here. Darkhawk. So Darkhawk got hit once with Zabu. Darkhawk is still usable though, because they feel the need to nerf it again. Darkhawk is going from a 4 cost 1 power to 4 cost 0 power. So minor knock on the nose. Darkhawk is an especially powerful card. As we prepare this balance change for the Silver Surfer and Zabu nerfs went live, we didn't want him to hit too hard, so they're trying to ease the pain on you. However, we definitely felt that knock off at least 1 power from him was warranted, and we will continue to monitor his performance. So I'm glad I didn't get Darkhawk from the collector shop. I ended up getting Null instead, and I had a lot more fun. Darkhawk, I think, will still be good. It's 1 power. Most of the power is ramped up by how many cards are in someone's deck, so it's a little knock. 1 power could change the course of battle, but yeah, they've been really eyeing their attention on Darkhawk. Moving on, we got Sandman. Sandman is getting more powerful, and I would not be surprised if we're going to be heading into a Sandman meta here. Developer comment on this. It's going from 4 cost 1 power. And as I've said, I feel like we talked about how it's overrated or whatever way back when. The problem is you're not putting a lot of power down. You know, now it's moving to 5 costs, so they're up in the cost limit, and 5 power. That's a better exchange. And with Sandman, in case you don't know, it basically limits how many cards you can play. So one card per turn. You can't spam cards. So Sarah's gonna get hurt. Zabu decks that play multiple cards are gonna get hurt. Things that require multiple card plays per turn are gonna get hit big time. And the decks that are gonna exceed are ones that can get Sandman out. So like Electro can get you Sandman out on turn 4 potentially if everything works well. And then I think Shuri deck's gonna get even a bigger boost because normally you play what? Shuri, and then you play Red Skull. So it's a slower play, but you're placing big power, maximizing what you can do with that one card per play. Many of the strongest decks now have strategies centered around multiple cards on turn 6. Sarah, for example. Sandman should be a good answer to these decks, but he didn't quite have the stand up to him with his previous stat line. See, you know, I'm not crazy. I said this way back when. And yeah, look at they boosted the power on him. We're giving him a bit more power to make him a more competitive card, but also subsequently bumping up his cost. So we're going to see what happens, but I'm fairly certain we're going to be seeing some sort of weird Sandman meta moving forward, especially going to next season. I highly expect that that's going to be the case. We also have a couple of other minor buffs to a few things. We're going to get buff the Spider-Woman. You know, it's from 5.7 to 5.8, so a little bit more powerful, trying to get more people to utilize it. In the early game, I saw tons of Spider-Woman, but there comes a point where you get bigger and better cards, and Spider-Woman kind of falls off. I'm not sure if that one power bump's going to make a difference, but who knows? 5.8's not bad. Namor, I don't know if this is going to really change much. 4.5 to a 4 cost 6 power. I'm not saying that make a big difference. Dagger, it's gonna be a nice little addition for move decks. It's going from a 2 cost 1 power to 2 cost 2 power. So again, very minor buffs across the board. Maybe it'll perform better. Maybe Spider-Man will get a little bit more action, you know, because again, when you're picking the deck cards, you want to say, all right, what synergizes well, what has good cost, the power value, and Spider-Man didn't really have that cost, the power value for the most part. So who knows? I think Spider-Man has a good chance of being used a little bit more. Another thing, you know, I say this so far in advance. People are saying Yondu's trash. He's one of the worst one cost. And people are all of a sudden coming around to liking Yondu a lot. I can sense the future. That's why you got to hang out here. We talk praise about Yondu, and Yondu's being used more and more lately. Yondu, they updated because right now it says remove the top card on the deck, but it acts like a destroy. Now I was worried that they were going to nerf Yondu, but all they did is they accurately update the text, where now it says destroy the top card of your opponent's deck. So Yondu's going to work the same, but now it just accurately describes his effect. Please remember that most triggered and ongoing effects are not active while a card is in your deck. When a card's in your deck, it's dormant. So I heard people say like, oh, why doesn't Wolverine go onto the field? Because it was in the deck. The effects don't activate. It needs to be in your hand or on the field for the effects to activate. So despite the word destroy, Yondu can remove Colossus and Wolverine with impunity. And moving on here, got a couple other things here. Got some text updates, for example. As an ongoing effort to improve card and location text, we've adjusted everything that currently says when you play a card to say after you play a card instead. So they're hoping to clarify a few things. None of these are functional changes. Angela, Bishop, Iron Fist, Lockjaw, Titania. We have one more thing I think it's worthy putting on the radar. Actually, 2 more things. They're adjusting Clintar. The symbiotes are now no longer 1 cost or 4 cost. I think it's kind of a nice change because here's the problem. Let's say you put a card in the zone, Clintar shows up, it took your massive power card and turned it into a 1 cost card, and then you have Killmonger. Wipe it out. So now at least you got a little bit more power in them, so they're immune to Killmonger. But one more thing I think that's really, really worthy of mentioning. Absorbing Man's effects can now be doubled by effects like Wong, Kamartage, Odin. Before you wouldn't be able to re-trigger them. So Absorb Man got a nice little boost. Such a fun card. I got it with the series drop that happened last time. But overall, that was going to be your kind of big updates here. I'm very excited to see what Thanos is going to be about. I want to run Thanos. I want him to be at least kind of on par with how Galactus feels in terms of animation design and in terms of play style. Much different decks. One deck revolves around little cards on one zone. Thanos is about a lot of stones and a lot of cards in all the zones, but you want to get him on the field, right? That's what it should be all about, and the stone should be the secondary thing. Thanos should be the primary. I don't think it's going to change that. I think the stones will still be the primary, but Thanos is going to be a decent option. For the last play, you played all the stones. It's a lot of work to get all the stones into play. Boom. Basically an infinite onto the table. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is going to be enough to put Thanos on the radar? I mean, people are starting to utilize Thanos a little bit more with the recent Quantum Tunnel, playing with Lockjaw. It's a decent deck. I don't know if it's top tier, but it's a decent deck. But I want to see Thanos be a little bit better. But in the meantime, leave that like. And as always, thank you for subscribing all these lovely past few months. It's been great seeing us surpass 15 billion. And I can't wait to grow the empire in this second channel even more. And always remember, until we meet again, that it's great to be in the empire today.